So, you know, I do these little recordings from time to time. They're getting a little more frequent because it seems to be a lot easier just to, blather on than type something. So it was shortly after 11 p.m., it's now 11:50, when I went outside for a brief moment, and it smells like winter. It really smells like winter. It has that smell of snow coming, and it's about 4 degrees, and it's supposed to drop down to 2, and we're almost into Saturday. I was almost going to say we're almost into tomorrow, and the solar eclipse happens. And oddly enough, I had a conversation today with a woman about some weird phenomenon that happened in the past, with something strange happening to our eyes during eclipses. We didn't realize the eclipses were happening at the time, and quite possibly not even in our part of the world, or not visible in our part of the world anyway. So all of that's in the background today, and this province has just gone through a lot of climate-related devastation, to put it mildly. Flooding, extreme flooding, rain, mudslides, wiping out of infrastructure, people's homes flooded, their livelihoods, businesses, their ranches, farms, you name it. It's just been horrible. And once the waters receded, everything was filled with mud and sludge and debris, and there's logs that were washed ashore around a lot of the Gulf Islands, and it's just ongoing. And we had some really warm weather 2 days ago, and then it's gone the other way, and it's looking like it's going to snow for, I don't know, the next 7 days or so. It's the weather's looking a little better now. There's a couple of days in the middle that look like they're actually going to be just cloudy or sunny without any precipitation of any kind, but the temperatures are a little colder than normal. And I wanted to complain. It was cold, and I went outside, and it had that smell of snow, and my first thing was to just whine and complain. But really, there's nothing to complain about here. When we first had the first big wind and rainstorm, I lost power about 4 times over the weekend, and it was fine. It really was fine. And since then, everything's been really normal, while the rest of the province has been suffering really badly. The worst thing that I had to deal with was there was a lineup at the gas station, so I decided not to stop. And I haven't really been going anywhere. And, there were a few minor items that were unavailable at the grocery store. These are really not problems, and they're supply chain issues for so many people. Their whole communities were just blocked off in every direction. People were not able to get their medicines, in and out. And it was already snowing over there because it's, it's colder than where we are here in Vancouver, right next to the ocean. So, yeah, I'm not going to complain at all. I'm very grateful that, for whatever reason, I just happen to be in this place that's not being affected, and so many people are really being negatively impacted by this. So I decided to just sort of focus and pull out a card out of one of my decks, one of my many, many, many decks. And the card, well, even before that, what I was thinking was, something like what is needed in this time? Like what can we focus on, or where can we shift our attention, or what can I do, or what does Spirit want us to focus on, or something in that realm. I don't even think I really articulated it in words. I just sort of had that feeling. And the card that I got, it's actually giving me goosebumps. The number is 24, so that's a 6, a 2, and a 4. And the card is actually split into two. There's a close-up and then a distant picture. And it is the card of the Calumet, which is, it actually means peace at this moment. The Calumet is the largest of the Native American pipes, and it's one of the most sacred objects. White Buffalo Calf Woman taught humans about it and the rituals associated with it. It was used to seal covenants or treaties as a way to ensure peace. It was also used in rituals to ask favors from the gods and nature. As soon as it was lit, it was raised towards the sun, then lowered to pay homage to the earth, and finally to the four directions. And I know that this was this little booklet, the thing that I just read. It can be a little slightly off, we'll say. It's not 100% accurate. And it even says white buffalo woman, but I did say white buffalo calf woman because I know. The fact that the key word there is peace, actually all the key words are peace, contract, alliance, recompense, and honor. And think about what's happening right now. That could be like a whole 2-hour conversation here. So I'm not even going to go into that. The moment I start saying those words, there's a lot of constricting in my chest, and across my heart it becomes very, very constricted. So we'll leave that alone for the moment, but just to focus on those words of peace, contract, alliance, recompense, and honor, and the fact that they're talking about covenants or treaties as a way to ensure peace. And that's so not what happened. It's so completely not what's happening. So the message, it says, find a way to create a peaceful, mutually beneficial solution, honoring and respecting others involved. And the time says Thursdays, and I happen to be born on a Thursday. But that aside, find a way to create a peaceful, mutually beneficial solution, honoring and respecting others involved. So what do you do when you are on the side of trying to do that? Where you are on that side of trying to create a peaceful, mutually beneficial solution, honoring and respecting others involved as much as you can. So when I think about the people who are trying to protect the old growth forests, or they are the water protectors, or they're trying to just protect their own land and their rights to hunt and fish and access clean water and prevent, the forces that shouldn't be coming through there with pipelines and, military, basically. When you are on that side, trying to do everything peacefully, and the other side is not, that's a challenge. So I think that's where that that pipe comes in. And I don't have one. But back in 1993, Owl Woman did give me that name of hummingbird white buffalo. And so whenever that shows up, it seems extra meaningful to me. And I don't think I have the full capacity to break that apart at this exact moment. But I think I'm going to turn this into a two-parter and just sort of reflect on this part for now, and then go into some other cards that I have. But I think I think this is the tip of the iceberg as far as breaking that open and trying to figure out how to create that ripple effect of peace. And it's really easy to create peace and healing among peaceful people. It's how do you get that to the other side? Like, how do you get that through their, I was going to say through their thick heads, but, really, at what point is it no longer peaceful? And is that okay? So I'm going to leave it there for the moment, and I'm going to see what else comes up.